Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Community. I am so excited to be in person. I love recording in person, especially when some of my favorite people are here. I have my friend Vanessa here, and Vanessa, when I found out we were both speaking at this event for our friend Cher, I was like, oh my gosh, you need to come early. We need to record together. Vanessa spoke at High Vibe Women, and I was just telling her how loved she was and how many times I've heard people like sing her praises, talk about how smart she is, how eloquent, how amazing she is. So Vanessa, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this.
Yay. Well, why don't you tell people a little bit about you, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about like what you do, how you help people, because I know there's so many ways.
Yeah. So I'm a CPA by background. I'm CPA. I'm also a master NLP mindset coach. So basically, I like to say I'm a money and mindset nerd.
Oh my God, I didn't know that you were a master mindset coach.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah. It's so funny. I got into this NLP world when I first started the business. The business was more focused on personal finance and, typical personal finance coaching. And we were creating these financial plans for my clients, and they would stick to them for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then just go. And I was just like, what is happening? And so that's what got me into this whole mindset world. And then I had learned about NLP. I got introduced to it. I was intrigued. And so I started to learn, and then I got certified. And when I got certified, I was more like putting the techniques on myself and learning on myself and then teaching it to my clients and like shifting their mindsets. And that's when I realized, it's almost like this misconception that, when it comes to money and building wealth, we think about how to manage it, where to invest. But I always say there's two sides. There's two sides to financial freedom. There's two sides to wealth building. It's money management and money mindset. And we don't talk about the money mindset. I didn't know I had a money story.
Yeah.
I didn't know or think I had a relationship with money. I didn't know what my prevalent discovery was about money. And so that's how I got into this mindset world. And now it's like the foundation of what we do in all of our coaching programs in Mintworthy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I think, a lot of people would understand like, CPA, like, even a level of like coaching around money. But when you talk about like money mindset, how have you seen entrepreneurs like, struggle with money mindset, but also like what has been the result of people working on their money mindset?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I would say the result is obviously 10 times, right? Because, when we start businesses, I always say this, we don't start businesses to be broke.
Yes.
I mean, I hope you don't.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't. But we started businesses to make money. And so you can't jump up and down and raise your hand and say, I want to make more money. I want to hit 6-7 figures if you don't even know your mindset around money, if you don't know your relationship with money. And I really say, if you look at the results of your business, if it's not going the way you want, we could directly tie it back to your money mindset. And I think for entrepreneurs, it comes in different pieces. It's, especially as women, us not charging what we should charge. Us giving people discounts, us, downgrading what we offer, not seeing ourselves as, fully ready, fully, expressed and I'll say experienced to do the things that we offer, whatever it is. And I feel like sometimes, the money mindset also really digs deep into that comparison factor. Like if you knew that money just loved you, if you knew that money was abundant, that money would flow to you, it wouldn't matter to you what this person's doing.
Yes.
Or how much success they have or how much money they say they have. It just creates, when you have this solid money mindset, it creates this surety about you, your business, your just financial security and stability. It changes everything. It changes everything of how you show up, not just in business, but also in life.
Yes, I love that. I'm curious for you because, like, a lot of people working hard, and this is a story we hear all the time with entrepreneurs, and Maria and I have lived this story as well in seasons, where it's like we're working and we're like, where's the money? Where does it go? Like, and even like we have impressive numbers sometimes, and definitely we're like, getting out of that season for sure. But like, there was a season where we were over investing and like reinvesting lots in the business and paying ourselves less. And then we actually got to a point where we were like, actually, we want to be building personal wealth. So this doesn't really make sense the way we were doing it, and having lots of conversations around that. And so I do think money mindset has been a big piece of it. Like, one, I think I have like an extraordinary money mindset in a way, like where I'm like abundant. I know spending makes money. I like can see it, and almost like maybe to a fault where I'm kind of like a little like, do we buy a building? And Maria's like, no, we don't buy a building. We buy lunch today. While Maria's story is very different, where Maria has like a lot of like, and she would say this and has said this on the podcast, like a little bit more of like a scarcity mindset. So we keep each other kind of even. So it's just interesting because I do think that plays such a role in how we make choices, how we grow in our business.
100%. And what we don't realize is like when you talked about Maria and about scarcity, I can so relate to it. We don't realize that so much of that was ingrained in us when we were kids. Like how we were brought up and socialized about money. Like I always say, you know, when you were first born, what were your thoughts, perceptions, feelings about money?
Yeah.
You
Nothing.
had none. Like you were such a clean slate. And so everything we learned, especially between the 0 to 7, 8 range, like your mind was still in a subconscious state. And so you were just taking everything in at face value. And so much of what we think and feel about money as adults is really just our 7-year-old self. And we think, oh, you know, I'm an adult, I'm making money, I've got this, I'm making these financial decisions. Well, really, it's your 7-year-old self who's kicking up, who's still swiping that credit card when you say you want to get out of debt, who's still going to retail therapy when, you know, things are tough or when you feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
So there's still that 7-year-old that hasn't learned that it's safe to have money or safe to receive money in that abundant way.
Okay, so good. I have so many questions for you. I'm like, so good. So thinking about that even as a mom, right? You and I are both
my gosh,
like newer
yes.
moms. Your baby's older than mine. But, you know, have you seen that impact the way you talk about money in your family?
100%. And I would say if I didn't go down this whole NLP mindset route, I don't think I would be teaching Aria the things I'm teaching her now. I think I would still be just passing down what I learned. And so a lot of like what we do in our house, it's all language.
Yeah.
Like how we speak about it, how we speak to her about it. Even if we're having a conversation, if like Marcus and I are doing our money dates together, we're having a conversation, she might be playing, but her subconscious mind is hearing it all.
Yeah,
so even
totally.
the words we're saying about what the financial goals are, what do things look like, we're really intentional with our language. And one of the things we do every night, even though she doesn't get it, I think she's starting to get it because she's like, Mommy, she doesn't say it very well. She's like, affirmation.
Stop. Stop.
And so every night, we've been doing this since she was probably 3 months, but we would say affirmations to her every night before we go to bed. And part of that sequence is about money. So we're telling her, you know, it's safe to have money. It's easy for you to make money. You are successful. Like money flows to you with ease. So we're instilling that in her subconscious right now because her subconscious is wide open.
Yeah.
So why not tell her the things that I want her to know and believe when she's my age, when she's starting her own business. So she's not second guessing. She's like you. Money's abundant. Let's do this.
You know, and it's so funny because if you knew my family's story, you would not think that that would be the way that I am. Like I come from an immigrant family. I'm a first generation Canadian. I'm the first in my family to go to university. And my parents have their own journeys with money. My parents had me very young, working like minimum wage jobs, had to choose between like daycare or like me going to daycare or working. Like it was like my mom was working for me to go to daycare, paid for university out of their RSPs. Like it really like I never knew my parents had money struggles.
Wow.
They never talked about it in front of me. I never knew about it. Yeah. And now I look back and obviously some choices, like my parents said no to things. I never understood why. And like obviously now I look back on it so differently as an adult. But at the time I never knew that. And now my parents are, you know, in abundance in a totally different way and have had such amazing careers and are so hardworking and deserve everything and have it. And I like see it and I'm like, oh, wow, that's so great. But I never knew that growing up. I never heard my parents talk about it. So it's even like,
so good.
Even now, like when I think about my son and I think about, you know, me and my husband and the way we talk about things, I never use the word expensive.
Yes, right?
Never.
Ever.
Like even if I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, wow, those are some inflated pears. Must be tasty, extra juicy. Or, you know, I was just talking with our mutual friend Cher about paying for something. And I was like, I think I overpaid for this. But I was like, but like market value. I was like, but I'm also recognizing that I'm not paying for the service. I'm paying for her time learning that skill and like blah, blah, blah. Like I have such a the good money mindset.
Yes.
To the point where my husband's like we laugh because my son had a tongue tie. He had to get a cut or whatever. And you have to pay out of pocket for that. And how much do you think a tongue tie cut would be?
I mean, just because you're asking, I feel like it's more than I would think. $1,000?
$1,400.
Oh my gosh!
And it's like 3 seconds. Like they go.
No way.
And they don't tell you in advance how much it costs. So you just go up and you're like, I guess that's
and here's your bill.
That's a Visa expense. So you know, you tap your Visa on that. We can't even tap it. But you know, you put your Visa in. And my husband and I are going, my husband's like, $1,400. We should have done this in the house. Like this is crazy. Not actually, but like this is crazy. We're like laughing about it. And I'm like, she went to dental school. We're paying for the laser, the lights, the overhead on the staff.
That's
like,
true,
you know, but it's like, it's the money mindset. So like for you, like obviously affirmations are a piece of it and changing your language, but what are some of the key things you see with entrepreneurs, like in the way they talk or talk to themselves that could be a shift for them in like that starting place for money mindset?
Yeah. The talking I think is so important. One of the things I always say to my clients, you know, is I like to say mic drop to yourself, right? Like, you know, so many times we'll have this block. You put out an offer. Well, no one's going to buy. Or you increase your price. No one's going to say yes to this. And we're looping all those thoughts in our mind. And I always say, well, mic drop what you want.
Yeah.
Like, mic drop whatever it is that you actually want to bring into your business. Everyone pays in full. This coaching program is sold out. Like, you get to decide. You can say no one's going to buy, or you can say everyone's going to buy. It's the same language, it's the same energy. It does not cost you more or takes more time to say one versus the other.
Yeah.
But I think the more, like, we don't think about what we think about. You know, we're constantly on autopilot. We're constantly in this loop of our own blocks. The more you can just slow down and actually just think, wait, what is that prevalent thought of mine?
Yes.
Where did that actually come from? Is that mine? Is that inherited? Well, what do I want to believe? And I think as entrepreneurs, it's so hard, right? You know, we're everything in our business sometimes. And it's like, okay, what do I need to focus on? I just need to get money. I just need to do this. Well, okay, there's being in your business, but then there's actually being the CEO. And sometimes you got to actually elevate yourself to that mindset of wherever it is that you want to go in order to run your business at that level. I think sometimes we're so stuck in our money mindset. We're running it still like employees.
Yes.
And calling ourselves CEOs. But a CEO has a way different mindset than an employee. A CEO at 6 figures has a way different mindset than a CEO at 7 figures. And so it's really deciding and deciphering, who do you want to be in your business,
right?
And choosing that person every day, in every decision. One of the filters I've created for myself, like I have this revenue goal in my head, and literally everything I'm asking myself, would that version of me do this right now? How would, literally driving here from Mississauga to Waterloo, how would she show up today?
Yeah.
Am I acting as her? And I think the more that you shift your way of beingness, your mindset easily shifts faster. It's all identity, right? You can never outperform your identity.
I love that. What would you say, like, you know, I love the idea of asking and yourself, like, would I show up in that season? Like, I think about that. Like, I'm like, you know, we're a 7-figure biz. I'm always like, I don't really have 8-figure aspirations, to be honest. But like, you know, as we grow our business, I'm like, you know, am I showing up as the leader of a 7-figure business? Like, you know, when I'm doing a task, it's like, does that need to be me? You know, we were just laughing about our employee, Ben, who's here, who's the absolute like glue to our business. But, you know, he does so much for us. And sometimes I'm like, wait, what should he be working on? What should I be working on? What should he be outsourcing so he can level up? Like, always thinking about those things. What would you say for somebody who, let's say they're earlier stage and they're not seeing a lot of success in business?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's actually hardest to hold the belief, right? Where you're like, you know, maybe you're putting out offers and people aren't, even if you believe the offers should be sold, people aren't buying them.
Yes.
How do you maintain that? What would you say people should be doing with that information?
Yeah, I think there's 2 parts, right? There's the actual structure and maybe the positioning of the offer.
Yeah.
So actually find out, is the offer viable?
Yes.
I think sometimes we also just say, oh, I think everyone's going to like this. I would like it. So everyone out in the world's going to like it. Maybe not. So like, are you even first doing that due diligence with your ideal client? Are you asking them what they want? Or are you just putting out what you think they want? So there could actually be like mechanics in the offer that just are off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the pricing where the price is positioned for a different target. Sometimes what I find with my clients is they're scared to increase their prices. So their prices are low, but then who they're targeting, they're targeting people that actually see them in a different light. I actually had this client. So I'll just tell this quick story.
Please.
A client of mine happened to have a discovery call with a friend of mine,
okay,
but she didn't know we were friends. And we had been working on this client's price, and I was like, you really need to increase it. She increased it a bit, but not to the level that I suggested. She had this discovery call, and my friend was like, honestly, her prices are way too low for me to say yes. Her price is making me question the value that she's going to give me.
Wow.
And so my friend did not sign on with her.
Interesting.
And so I'm saying that to say, when we're talking about the offer and the structure of the offer and your pricing, is your pricing actually positioned for your actual target client. Because maybe you're scared to actually increase it, but your target audience is like, increase it and I will trust you more.
Yes.
Like your pricing impacts your positioning. So it could be the structure, but then on the mindset piece of it, again, it goes back to everything we were talking about. But I think sometimes when you're in that tough season, Bob Proctor calls it the cycle of doom. And this analogy always really resonated with me. But he's like, when you're in that season where things aren't working out, you have two choices. And what we're defaulted to do or we're conditioned to do is we look at the reality. So the reality is the thing's not working. It's not selling. The business isn't working. And then we take that reality and we allow it to basically infiltrate our thoughts. It's not working. So I'm going to make that impact my feelings. It's never going to work. I'm going to make it impact my actions. Well, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to put the offer out there. I'm not going to figure out what's not working and change it. I'm just going to throw this thing and put it in the ground. And so that creates this self-fulfilling prophecy where we're so busy focused on the reality, the bank account, the debt, the not 6 figures, the not 7 figures, and we're allowing that to dictate what we're doing today. And we're wondering why we're still getting the same results. Well, you haven't changed your way of being and thinking. And so it's that shift of saying, okay, well, this is where I want to go. Well, let me change the thinking around it and let me change what I do about it.
Yes.
And I think sometimes when things aren't working in the business, I don't know, I find this sometimes with my clients, we don't want to do the messy work to figure out why it's not working.
No, totally. We're just like, no one likes that offer.
Nah. Yeah.
No
Let
one
me
wants
fix it. Yeah. I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to do something else. Like we don't get our hands in and get dirty. But I think when you can look at an offer and pull it, like this is what I love to do. I love pulling apart offers. Like, I love just seeing, like, where are you potentially leaving the money on the table? Where is it not working? Like, just because someone says no or a bunch of people say no doesn't mean the offer is not right. It just may not be positioned right.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. So many good things there. Yeah. I think the positioning is so important because I totally agree. Like, I have working with so many entrepreneurs. Like, I see people's offers at all different spots. And I've been in that situation, too, where I would say some of our pricing is definitely on the lower end. And I feel good about some of that. And then for other stuff, I'm like, oh, it has to be on the higher end. I actually can't do it cheaper and feel good about it.
Right.
And when I was early stage in business, Maria and I would always laugh because someone would be like, well, would you do it for $400? I'm like, should we? Because at least it's money.
Right.
And then now it's like you couldn't get me to do anything for that amount of money. Like it's like I'm not coming for that amount of money, right? But it took a bit of proof and like time. And so I guess like what my question is for you is like, so someone listening to this, maybe they're not where they want to be. And this is why I ask this is because I think this is kind of a controversial, juicy thing. But I don't know. We'll see what happens here. But I've heard it, and the online space is scary.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to financial information, right?
100%.
And early on, and I tell the story all the time, one of our first coaches told Maria and I, we didn't do it, just for your mental health, told us to take out an Amex and pay ourselves. Like he basically was like, we were at the point where we were like making money, but less than 6 figures. And we were like 6 months in. Now I'm like, LOL, like this is a little side hustle. Things were great. Yeah. And he was like, well, Kristina, you want to leave your 6-figure job, go get a $100,000 Amex and you'll have it on the line. Like, you'll know, like it's there. And we were like, no, thank you. Like, not interested in that, right? But I remember like in that time, it's like we would get a lot of that advice of like, be that 6-figure entrepreneur, be that 7-figure entrepreneur, act as them, show up as them, right? And sometimes I think if you aren't there yet, you actually don't know what that entirely looks like or how someone would spend their money, how someone would do it. So even I remember, like, I have a 7-figure business. I probably wouldn't take an Uber Black.
Right.
That's probably not how I'd spend my money. Right. There's other things I'd spend my money on that other people aren't that into. I love events. I love, doing the thing. But, like, probably wouldn't take an Uber Black. And I remember going to my first event and the woman said, if you want to be, like, like this, like, when I got off my plane, I took a first-class flight. I took an Uber Black here, like, because, like, that is what I would do if I had this kind of money. So I'm curious, and I think that leads to, like, kind of crazy overspending.
Yes.
So how do you balance that, like, I want to show up as this person, but also I don't need the Gucci sunglasses?
Yeah, so good. Oh, my gosh, I love so much in this question. I don't think you need to put yourself into financial hardship and debt.
Yes.
In order to be that person.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't done the mindset work. Because that's just going to cause you to spiral to literally continue to go deeper and deeper into debt. I think there is a balance. I am an advocate of almost like sampling that life. Yeah. But you do it in a way that's financially responsible. So if it is, let's say in your business, one of the things I always like to get my clients to do is every month you put a percentage of your profit aside in your FU fund. Okay, every CEO needs an FU fund.
Love,
okay?
tell me.
That's my take. So a percentage of your profit, and that could range between 1 to 10%. You could start at 1 and then build up over time. But that money goes into your FU fund every month. And then a quarterly, or you could let it ride, but at least once a quarter, you get to touch that money. So if you want to take the first class trip, if you want to go to a fancy dinner, you got the cash for it.
Yeah.
We're not swiping MXs. We're not going into debt to live that life. Like that goes against the person's beingness and identity with money. If they're already in this socialization of being in debt, telling them to go into debt to be that person is just going to keep them into debt.
Yes, right.
You have to change the behavior to also change the mindset. So I am big on living the life, but living it with financial responsibility.
Love that.
Yes.
What would you say, like, and obviously this is like a nuanced question. I understand this because sometimes I ask Stacey questions. I'm like, hi, can I write off this spray tan? Our mutual friend, Stacey Millard. And Stacey's like, is it for something business related? Like, and she's like, you can't just send me questions like this. I need more context.
Right.
But so I'm going to ask you a question. So, people who have businesses, I think debt is a very common part of business, right? Where people will be up and down. Like Maria and I both we have red months. We've had red months. We have extreme green months. And this is like, the way we've run our business. What is your view on, making investments in your business? And I know it's different, but I think the people listening, mostly I would say service-based entrepreneurs and people who probably don't have a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
Over time, we've acquired some overhead. But at the beginning, it was just me and Maria working, right? So it's probably we didn't need any debt. Yeah. But curious for you, there's so many masterminds people can do. There's events people can go to, the podcast equipment, whatever it is. What would you say?
Yeah, I'm very big on investing in your business. Yeah. But you got to make sure you're going to create the ROI. Yourself more than anyone. If you have this track record of signing up for the mastermind or the coaching program and not finishing it, then if you're going to swipe on another 20K mastermind, you're going to ghost it.
Yes.
Yourself. So it's shifting and deciding that whatever you're going to invest in has to have an ROI. I don't believe in investing just to say that I did it.
Yeah.
I want to say that I invested in this coach, or I have this sexy, podcast equipment.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to get the sexy podcast equipment and not do the podcast,
Amen.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right? So, yes, invest, but you have to make sure you have an ROI. And I like to create a timeline for that ROI. So if it is a mastermind, is it by month 2 that you want to see an ROI? Whether that ROI is landing a client, whether that ROI is a connection that's going to lead you to a speaking engagement, create the parameters of your ROI. I think sometimes we're missing that piece. We're like, I'm going to get an ROI. Well, what is going to actually be that ROI for you?
Totally.
Because also that allows you to show up differently. If the ROI in that mastermind is by month 2, I'm going to get a new client, that is how you're in.
Yes.
Every meeting, every conversation, every mastermind call, you're like, okay, I'm going to take this information so I can secure another client. It changes how you're moving and grooving in your business. And so that's the piece I think we're missing is actually deciding and saying what that ROI is, but also giving it a timeline. It can't be 12 months from now. We can't be in a mastermind for 12 months and just see the results. Then we have a problem.
Totally.
So even if it's the equipment, same thing. Okay, if I'm going to do this podcast, by month 3, I want to have X amount of downloads. I want to be able to secure this high profile guest, whatever it is, but create that tangible ROI and timeline for yourself.
I love that. Yeah, it's so interesting because I think ROI with a lot of these events and things, and obviously the way Vanessa and I know each other is through High Vibe Women. I can't remember who. Oh, it was Indra Crisp that introduced us.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
She was like, "Do you want to be Vanessa?" I was like, "Yeah, I do want to be Vanessa." Yeah, it's so interesting because I do think obviously in this event space and mastermind space, we've invested truly hundreds of thousands of dollars being in rooms, and that has grown our business so quickly.
Right.
But I know that when I pay for something, I show up.
Yes.
And so it's interesting with Maria and I because Maria has a different energy with that kind of stuff. And when we make investments in our business, we have honest conversations of okay, if we're going to both join this community, what are you going to do? What am I going to do?
Right.
And I know I'm going to go to the events. I'm going to show up and do this stuff. And Maria might go to the larger events and really show up well and love it. And she's more strategic in that way. For me, it's I'm going to go to the small events. I'm going to connect with people one-on-one. I'm going to make connections for them. I'm going to build relationships and build rapport. And even yesterday, I got a call from someone from a mastermind we were in where we've gotten some ROI from it, but I usually can see ROI even faster than I did in this time.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, like, I'm curious if you wanted to maybe go into business together. This was something I was thinking, like, massive opportunity, like, so cool.
Yeah.
And not sure what will come of it. But, like, it was so interesting to me because I was like, oh, okay, that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't followed up, gave him my phone number, stayed connected, checked in on him on how he was doing. Like, I know how I'm going to show and move. But that's the thing, is that sometimes people will, like, they'll put another coaching program on an Amex or, and even if it's not like, hey, I'm going to get clients from this, but like, I'm going to work with this coach and they're going to change the trajectory of my business.
Yes. I think you nailed something too. I think in this world of social, I think we're in this, it's just my thoughts, that we're in this world of let me post and hope it's going to translate. We're missing this relationship marketing aspect.
Yes.
Like, I think you need both. It can't just be one. And when you talked about like following up, I think that art of connecting and following up is so lost in business. Like, when you think of times before social, that's how people literally blew up their businesses.
100%.
Like, relationships and connections. And I think that piece, just when you said that, it triggered it for me. I think that piece is so missing in our marketing strategy these days. Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's such a like core to the way I think about things. Because even like the podcast, like I'm always like, when people are like, oh, why do you do a podcast? I'm like, I love to bless listeners with awesome guests. I love to talk about marketing and all the things that I've learned. And the reason I actually do it is to network and to like meet amazing guests and like to grow my network and also like build community with them. And like I meet you and I'm like, you're friggin' awesome. And this is how we could collaborate. I'd love to send a referral to you. Like we're able to kind of build a relationship.
Yeah.
And something I've noticed too, it's like, a lot of people think, and I think you'll see this because you have a very successful business, but you also support a lot of really successful business owners, and I know that. Sometimes people think there's like a cheat code to being successful, you know, where it's like, that person's successful because they know that person. That person's successful because they went viral once. That person's successful because they have this connection.
Yeah.
And that only comes with putting yourself out there and learning and growing and being willing to like go first. And like, I think that's something that's a bit missed with people where it's like, I'm going to put this coaching program on the Amex. I'm just going to hope that I'm going to get the return, but I'm not going to put in any work. It's like, it's not going to do it.
No, it's not. And I don't know where we came up with that idea.
Yeah.
That we're just going to swipe and hope and pray. Like, you know, like, oh, it doesn't really work like that. I don't know. I feel like we've just gotten into this trap of thinking like that's how you build a business. Or one of the things, someone said this one time and it just really resonated. She said, like, no one's going to come and save you. I think sometimes we're like, well, if I invest in this coaching program, this coach is going to come and save me.
Yes.
No, you still have to do the work.
Yeah.
The coach might throw out the life raft, but you got to grip it. You know, you got to hold on. And when the coach is pulling you in, you got to hold on. If you let go when you're 2 inches from the boat, that's on you, boo.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a piece, like we just want to like hope and pray and want everyone else to do the work for us. And I think also because this is just coming to me right now, I think entrepreneurship is sometimes glamorized.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think people really see how hard it is.
Yeah.
How much work and grit it takes. I think we see the highlight reels on social. Oh, 6-figure revenue, 7-figure revenue. And I always say, I don't care about your revenue. Tell me what your profit is. There's that. But I think we glamorize it and people think, oh, it's easy. And they just want it to be easy, but they don't want to actually do the work. You got to save yourself.
Yeah, and it's hard because something that I do think, and this might be a controversial point.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what your thought is. I do think part of that comes from like a huge push on mindset. And not in a like people shouldn't do mindset work, because I'm huge on that. And actually, like I've done Bob Proctor Thinking into Results. That was the first coaching program I did. Yeah. Like I'm like huge. Like Maria and I have you been to Trove yet?
I have, yes.
Yeah, you went to Trove. Okay.
I have.
So the girls who own Trove, they're friends of ours, and we're going to be producing their podcast. They're amazing, and probably by the time this is out, it's already live. And but they're amazing. And they were talking about something, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, me and Zoe." Tanya was like, "Me and Zoe, we plan from the 5th dimension. Like this is like how we make plans or whatever." And like Tanya said to Maria, she's like, "How do you do that when Kristina's so tactical? Like she's so in it." And then Maria's like, "Kristina's like always in the 5th dimension, but like she just doesn't call it that." We were like laughing about this, but it's because I'm a huge believer in mindset work paired with action.
Correct.
And I think what's so hard online, and I actually was in a coaching program once where it was actually to the point where it was unethical. I thought the coaching continuing to be sold the way it was because it was very much like, write down your goals every day. Things will start to show up. But it's like that. There's a parable about this that's like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The river or like whatever, and someone's drowning and they're like, God, like help or whatever. And he's like, here's a boat. And then he's like, here's a ladder. And then afterwards he goes to heaven and he's like, oh, like why didn't you help me? And he's like, get on the boat, dude. Like you didn't do the work. So it's like, I think the overdoing of the mindset work.
100%.
Like you can't out-mindset some work.
No.
Okay, good. You're on the same page. Woo!
Oh, yeah. I'm on the exact same page with you. I think we're conditioned right now to like just manifest your millions.
Yes.
Well, how about you manage the millions
if
you know how to? But I agree. I think, again, going back to you have to save yourself. I think we want to just like peace out and, kumbaya and say all the things, but you got to do the work.
Yes.
If you're not showing up, you can have all the mindset things and all the visualizations, but if no one knows you exist, how are they ever going to support you or say yes to you or invest in you?
Yeah.
So I agree that, and that's going back to like what we started with. There's the money mindset and the money management. That management still is the action.
Yes.
Action in your business.
Yeah.
Management of actually getting the client as well. Like that's part of that process. So I agree with you. You can't just manifest and mindset your way to wherever you want to go. Like you have to have the action.
Yes, I love that. And it's like such a balancing act, right? Of like, not overdoing it. Like, because I'm like an overworker. Like I'm on the other end sometimes where it's like, I'm like working. And Maria's like, you actually have to like, can we just enjoy?
Yeah.
Like it actually doesn't have to be as fast as this. Like
right.
we don't need to scale this. I'm like, we're on a rocket ship. Like get on or get off. And she's like, I'm on. But like, come on. So it's like, I think there's like both and.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you in like, just like in the vein of like, building community, going to events, like how do you make that choice from a financial perspective of like where you want to invest your time, your energy, your money? Just recognizing like, especially now, you and I both know like the events are popping off. Like they're everywhere. Like I felt like I was an OG on the event side, and I feel like I'm losing my steam. But it's actually amazing to see, especially for women, how many amazing women-owned events there are to bring female entrepreneurs together. You and I are speaking at one tonight for our friends Cher and Megan Schnarr. But curious for you, like, how do you make the choices of where to put your eggs?
That's such a great question. I have a little bit of a criteria, I will say.
Of course you do. A CPA thing.
Does it check off the list? One, I need to make sure it has my ideal client in the mix. In the mix. Like, it has to be my ideal client. Like, if it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I want to build connections, but at the end of the day, I want to build my bank account.
Yep.
I'm going to be real. So that's the first piece for me. The other piece I really look at is who's running it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I did a little scoping out.
Yeah.
But that's important, right?
Yes.
The character of the host, whoever the event organizers are, like that is important to me.
Yeah.
And yes, like you said, these events are popping up, but I've heard so many horror stories of the people who are behind these events.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's important to me. Are the organizers living and building their businesses with integrity?
Yes.
How are they actually running the event? Are they supporting the people that are coming to speak or sponsor, or just that piece of, for me, is very important. And then for me, I also look at like the caliber of women that are coming.
Yes.
Like that's important to me. Like, yes, I want to be in a room with people that are at my level, but I really want to be in a room with people that are above me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't get there if I'm just at the same level as the people that are at my level. So that's very important for me as well. In my ascension, like I need to be with people that are going to help me get to where I need to go. So those are my like three main criteria. And then I also bring in the ROI piece. Like what's that ROI piece for me, whatever it is. And every event, it's going to look different. Sometimes it's just connections and collaborations.
Yep.
Like that's it. It's not actually clients. Like not every time it's clients.
Totally.
Like, depending on who I know is going to be at the event. Or if I know there's going to be specific people, there's maybe just people I just want to target. I'm just coming for that one or two people. Like that's it. Yep. If I just meet them, this was great, done. So yeah, setting that ROI factor for me is also very important.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I think sometimes it's about like the power partner piece where like you go, like we had a brunch after High Vibe Women, which is like mostly speakers and like that kind of thing. And like that's the kind of thing where you go and you like you don't know who could be an awesome referral partner or a connection or that kind of thing. And then High Vibe Women, it might be more of your ideal clients, but the VIP might be more like peers and it's finding that. And like I'm a huge believer in too, like this is why I do not take any offense when people are like, oh, I feel like I've grown out of High Vibe Women. I'm like, that's fine. Like sometimes, you feel like you've done the thing, but like it's also about sometimes being in rooms where you're like the small fish.
Yes.
I love to be a small fish. I went to one this weekend where it was like 7 to 9 figure women. And everyone was more successful than me. I was for sure the smallest business. And I was like obsessed.
Wow.
The things they're talking about, I don't even know what the acronym means. Yeah. I'm here for the ride. Like, right? But then that makes you smarter. Yes. And like you get to do business with such amazing people. Yes. So Vanessa, I would love for you to give people just like one last, if you can, like we're listening to this in February. We'll give some scoop about High Vibe Women in a sec, because everyone's going to want to see you and they're going to be running to your breakout room. I'm going to have a bodyguard there. But curious, like, what would you say in 2026 is like your kind of prediction for like how people can become like more profitable or like what people should be focusing on for this upcoming year?
Oh, that's such a great question. So first I'm going to say focus on your profit. I think so many times we're so focused on the revenue. Yes, set the revenue goal, but please, please, please set a profit goal. Love. I don't care if you hit 6-7 figures in revenue. Like if the profit is not there, you don't have a business. I always say that means you just have a hobby with a sexy name. Right? Yeah. You're not actually running a business, but also profit is where you start to build wealth. And when we enter into these businesses, it's for a bigger purpose. It's for a legacy. It's for something bigger than us. And the profit is where you create that. So one, focus on profit, whether it's a dollar amount of profit or a percentage. The other thing I would say that I find so many of my clients miss is we're not actually like auditing our offers. So we're so busy looking at the entire business, which is great. I want you to look at it. I want you to look at your profit and loss statement. Yeah. I want you to know the business is profitable. But we don't dive deep to say, okay, well, are all of my offers profitable? Because sometimes what's happening in businesses is we're running all these offers, and yes, maybe some are making money, but there could be some lost leaders. There could be some that are draining money. And I feel like that's always a missed point. I always say at least once a year, like audit your offers. Yeah. Are they all profitable? And if they are they actually making the right profit margin? Do you have the right profit margin baked in? Because if we're going to do all this work to market, to do podcasts, to show up at events, to do our social, like if we're going to do all of this, you have to make sure that what's leading to it, like these offers are actually adding to your bottom line and adding to your bank account. So focus on profit, look at your offers, but just please, please celebrate profit more than you celebrate revenue. That'll make me happy.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Okay, I love it. Well, okay, I'll tell you guys quickly about High Vibe Women because Vanessa's going to be there, and then we'll let Vanessa wrap us up with where you can find her. But as you guys know, High Vibe Women, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, March 7th, it's an event at the Pearl in Burlington. It's going to be amazing. We're expecting 200 women. At the time I'm recording this, like we're well over half sold out, which is nuts. And Vanessa is doing one of our breakout rooms. And I have to tell you guys, I mentioned this earlier, Vanessa was on a panel and she like blew people away. Everyone was obsessed with her. So it was like an absolute no-brainer to have her back. And it was so funny because when Vanessa and I met, I was like, I need you to do something. We don't usually people do things back to back, but I actually need you to be part of both. And so will you do this? And you were like, yeah. Like we ride at dawn. So it was so amazing to have you be a part of it. But if you guys are interested, if you're listening, you're new to my community, you're listening because you're obsessed with Vanessa, use the code Vanessa50. You can save $50 on your ticket if there are still tickets. And we would love to see you there. But Vanessa, why don't you tell everyone where they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, follow me on Instagram at @MateMurthyCo. That's where I share all the things about building your profit and your mindset, but really building businesses that you're worthy of. And of course, you can go to my website, MateMurthyCo.com, find out all the ways that you can work with me, whether it's one-on-one, group, fractional CFO. I will support you however I can to make you build a big, sexy, profitable business.
Yay, I love it. And Vanessa has a new email newsletter that won't be new at this point. Now she's going to be like rocking and rolling.
I love it.
So we'll link it so that you folks can join and get all the scoop from Vanessa. But Vanessa, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is so exciting. And I'm so excited for everyone to listen to this. You're going to fall in love with Vanessa as much as I have. Everyone I know who meets her loves her. So go ahead, go give her a follow and keep on building your community.